Well, hello there, guys and gals, animal friends and spirit pals. Welcome to the Spirit Whisperer channel. That's what you're looking at right now. My name's Mark. I'm the Spirit Whisperer. This is my channel. I call it a channel because I'm a conscious voice channel for spirit. Dun 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 dun. And this is my channel. This is my voice channel. Okay, I can't explain it anymore. You either have to get it or don't. Um, Hi, I love seeing you. It's been a little bit. I was a little overwhelmed with just a lot of stuff needing to be taken care of. You know how you put things off and then things keep piling, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I just got to focus, get this. So, I had to go to the doctor and do all that, and that was a lot. And my cars really needed some attention, so I spent the day at the automotive shop getting that fixed. I did the fan on my air and heat wasn't working. It hasn't been for some time. I tried to get it fixed before, but where I go, the person that does it wasn't there. But anyway, so they fixed that, thank goodness. Now I have air and heat. It's supposed to snow here tonight and tomorrow, so I'm glad got that fixed. But that took a whole day, and my house needs a lot of attention, and I have a consignment booth that needs attention. Especially during the holidays, I have to kind of switch in and out items because I don't have a ton of space. So if I want to add like holiday items, I have to, rearrange and anyway, I had many chores, and of course, these are the only two hands I have to do them. So anyway, I missed you guys in these taped recordings. No matter how much life shows its face, I always try to always do my two live shows every week, the one on Saturday at 4 Eastern and the one on Monday at 2 Eastern. And then I always do private readings that I have. But then sometimes additional videos. It just depends on timing. So I'm sorry if you missed me, but I think absence makes the heart grow fonder. At least I'm hoping. So I want to come on here. Oh, first of all, Spirit is saying, congratulations, pat yourself on the back. You're doing a pretty good job. There's always room for improvement, but we're doing a pretty good job. So, we want to acknowledge that recently, take the wins, even if they're small or not exactly what you like, or you'd like them to be bigger, more, better. Forget about all that. Just accept the wins. And guys, Spirit has been saying this through me so many times that I'm like a broken record, that our job here is just to hold onto the love and the light, hold on to that positive outcome and ride through the storm, not get involved in it. Don't get all in the waves and in the tide. Stay above it, and hold on to the light. And, this will pass, and that good outcome that's for the highest good of all will be in its place. So, all of you brave souls out there, including me, who've held on to it, even when it's felt pretty rocky and like, oh gosh, the waves are up here to my nose. I'm going under. Or even sometimes you felt like I'm just gonna hermit today and just, forget all of it, all those things. But it's been really important that you've kept the faith, hung on to your commitment to good, to love, to light, to a creator, a divine energy, good for all for one, all for one. That there could be a world in which we all benefit and serve one another. How about that? And, I just want to commend you because you keep coming here to my channel and onto other channels and keep this community of light workers and lovers alive and supporting one another. And, when we get overwhelmed or like, oh, I don't know, we step in and go, here, I'll hold your space. You go to the bathroom, that kind of thing. So I want to acknowledge that because, like you guys, I've been seeing some nice positive steps. Um, like the election that recently that happened last weekend, and all the blue wave energy that was there. Uh, Great, um, positive step. I've been communicating with my guides and Pan in particular recently, and like yesterday he came through and I've been channeling him a little bit on the live shows and stuff. And then he was just talking to me. But so like what he's saying is the population, the humans, now it's going on worldwide, but he's focused here in America because I'm focused in America. But um, it's rising up to meet the challenge face to face. So actually standing up to it, putting action behind our beliefs, behind our words, behind our feelings. It's taken a while because I think a lot of us were in a state of shock for a bit and couldn't believe such a thing would go on here in our country. It just seemed like a nightmare or something, or that is this even real? And so I think it kind of knocked us for a loop. Um, and that much devilish temptation, negative, angry, deceptive energy, can be seductive and overwhelming. So we all had to find our footage um, and you know, regain our stance and shake ourselves off and get back up and go, hey, wait a minute, stop this. And so these are signs of that and the No King's Day, how, it grew, I'm sure is probably bigger than it's even been reported because, lies. Um, and all of this is just moving farther and farther. It's not going to go back. It's only going to continue to increase. And of course, he's always been his own worst enemy. Um, Luckily for him, humanity was kind of in a deep sleep about some things and really needed a real loud, sharp wake up call. And so we've been shaken awake, and a lot of us, and more each and every day, are going, okay, I have to stand up against this um, in one way or another. I can no longer, not that you were, but support this. I can't just um, sit by and act like it's not happening. Now, you and I have been, involved in this since the beginning because most of you guys um, have known when you first came here that that's not a good, first came here to the earth, that that's not a good path to go down. It's a path, it's a choice, but I think a lot of us like, well, we've been there, done that. That doesn't really work. We need to go with God and go forward with the light and what see what that does. Let's try that and see how good that works, because this has been shit. Letting fear run the world is crappy, right? So congratulate yourselves. You guys are doing a great job just by holding the light. And, we've said this before. That's a big part of what we're here to do, especially those of you that I call light workers that are very, that you're conscious of metaphysics and spiritual energy. That's our job, to sort of, um, man the stations, uh, keep the light burning so that we don't let it go out, so that others can look to it and reach for it and, be enlightened by it, right? So good job, everybody. So tonight I wanted to look at, just for fun and shits and giggles, at the Orange Oompada Loompadas energy. No, what a surprise. But let's look at his health. It feels to me like he's circling the drain. Here's another way of saying that. The past few weeks, it's been more easy to focus on team good than team bad. So all of a sudden, that energy's up, and active a lot more. So it feels like, oh, there's another voice. And there's been a lot of little voices, but now they're joining together in a big, loud, um, group voice, and that's terrific. So, cards, Otero. Can you give me a couple of cards on the health of the Orange Menace? Did I keep getting people saying, "Oh, Mark, you should just love him." No, nah. I love spirit and I love life, but his personality is not for me, and so I can't really support it. And that's just me. Okay, health, please. We're looking at health and health and health. How's the physical health? That's the one I'm looking at right now. Okay. I'm going to pull a couple cards from this deck of character. The first deck I'm using is the Shuffle Tarot. That's where they kind of mix images and then takes a little more looking there. Okay, let's look at these cards about health of the Oompa Loompa, Oopity Doo, Oompity Loompity, Loompity Loo. So first of all, we get the Queen of Pentacles in this deck. So Pentacles would be health, physical health, physical body. And in this deck, it's also got moon energy. So it would say they're keeping his health hidden under, it's being, you know, kept from us. So like it's in the dark, in the night. Um, and this Queen of Pentacles. So it's like we don't really have a full picture of his health, even though there's a little this and a little that. We don't really know what's going on. So that's one thing, because I was looking at what's going on with his health. Well, it's being um, hidden. Now, this is interesting. So I got the lovers in this deck, and it's mixed with judgment. And you got that first aid sign there on the judgment, that red heart. So what I think I'm getting from this is, we're still talking about physical health, but his support, the love and support that he likes to think he has, um, is judging him. So, and that's like this lack of support, or this feeling like he's lost the connection with some, or, he might call them stupid and idiots because, they believe the truth instead of his lies, whatever. But it's creating um, more health issues. So this also has given me that we're likely to see like um, an emergency, or maybe passes out or something like that. But quick, call the ambulance. Hello. His health is hitting the bottom, and um, that support, you know, look how they're distracted there. The one's blowing a flute, kind of like a female pan. They're both like in a trance. But it looks like, look, see his vines, they're broken. So it looks like they're breaking free. Interesting. Also, this fiery tree, like he's burning his own bridges. So, if you have a bunch of support behind you, even if you're not feeling well, you can have like a false sense of energy. You can be energized, and, you know, but it seems like he's experiencing um, that he doesn't have that, you know. So you might say another way of looking that I'm hearing now is like the events of the elections, the no kings. It's hit him where he lives, even though he lives in like a fantasy world, and they're always telling him things they want him to know. But some of this sunk in, I think, and he feels it in his bones. Um, then we get the Hierophant upside down, frozen into stone. So it's the Hierophant and Temperance mixed together. It's upside down, first of all. So a Hierophant would be like government. Um, but the Hierophant itself would like kind of represent the Oompa Loompa, because he would be the leader of it. Um, but, and we're talking about health. Look, he's just, his life force, there's no life force. It's all spilled out. So his cups are empty. And literally, he's kind of turning to stone. So we're not becoming more balanced. Medicine's not helping. It's just continuing. We're continuing to turn to stone. Don't look good. So these, and then the last one I got is the Ace of Cups upside down. So again, that looks like life force running away. Also, I get this idea of medicine, medical treatment. not working so well. Talk about his health. It's very fragile, like an egg. It could crack and break open at any time. His hangers on and support and enablers think the key to the health issue is to keep it hidden, shielded, keep it out of sight. Try to act as if everything, nothing to see here. That's the key. Keep it blocked, keep it behind a shield. No need looking, we got this little fragile egg, but we don't want to let you know. And that will save us. So they're kind of working that way about physical health. They're focused on that. But there's some illness that he has already, and it's gone beyond the seed. It's sprouted, it's growing, it's in there. Now, I'm not here to predict death or illness or anything like that. I'm just reading the cards, right? But this looks like there's something in there that's growing and developing. And the medicine, the doctors, um, it's not working a little, but in the long run, it's not. All right. Now, just for fun in the sun, let's look at, do I want to use this same deck? His mental health. If we can find it. Let's look at mental health. Okay, we're going to change X. I didn't think I was going to change it, but now I act like I'm going to use this one. All right. So, can you show me a couple cards on his current mental health? You guys might, if you have time, look at my live video today. Ask Anything today. Pan does a channeling at the end of it where he talks about the energy of the season, and I thought it was really good. So you might want to listen to that. That's a good way to keep your focus too, into the light and the positive energy. And also on you in your own practical life, so you might want to listen to it. I thought it was good, although as soon as he goes, I kind of forget what he said. Mental energy, mental energy. Okay. So this deck is called the Trash Panda deck. Little raccoons. One more card. Mental. He's mental, all right. Mentally deficient. Oh, I'm so mean. Okay. Wow. So I'm looking at mental energy. So, of course, all the cards are swords. You really can't make it up with tarot because, swords are mental body. Last time I got pentacle energy because we're looking at physical body. Now it's like, okay, mental, let's look at swords. Ooh, I just got goosebumps all up and down my back and spine. One more card. All right. I'm going to pull a couple of character cards just to add to it. Mental energy, mental energy, mental energy. How's that going currently? Because I think it's a race to the finish line. If he loses his mind or his body first, which one goes? Or do they go together? Mentally, he seems like a crackpot. Okay. Interesting. I have to get a little bit quiet when I'm looking at the cards. Okay, let's look at this. Mental energy. We're looking at our little trash panda deck. Very cute. First thing, we get the upside down emperor. So it's interesting because the last one we got the upside down Hierophant, which both can designate him. This one, yeah. So mental energy. It's not it's not supporting his emperorship. It's not it's anti what he's trying to do at this point. So his mind is losing the um the story. It's confused about what he set out to do, who he is, you know, all that. So confusion about where he is currently. And it's upside down version of it. So not good. Normally when I get the Emperor card, it would be right side up. Now all of a sudden it's upside down because the blood's rushing to his head. He's mentally losing it. Then we get the Ace of Swords. Um, he's in delusion. So here's mental energy again. But look, it's like, look, here's my crown and my roses, and I'm just loved by everyone. I'm the one that keeps things going. So he tends to think in this fantasy realm, um, all of his own. So it doesn't really matter what's in front of him or what he hears. He don't really take anything in. It's just my way or the highway, always my thing, my thought. You know, uh, we said before that he just gets up and whatever the first thought is, he goes and acts on it, whether it means anything or anything. So, he's still in that my way or the highway. You can't really, you know, communicate with him. Like, I just imagine it's bizarre to have any kind of conversation, even if you're one of his little piglets that follow him around. Um, Knight of Swords. His mental energy is, you know, moving quick, moving downhill quick, heading for a collision, a crash, a mental crash. Um, See how he's flying down the hill and it's kind of out of control, and there's really nothing much you can do. The fork's not going to help. There went his hat. Ah, we're going too fast. Oh no, and here's a big, the snow misses. And I'm going to have a tumble dumble. So his mind is racing downhill towards a collision course. Lovely. And that's happening now. Then we get the Seven of Swords. It's interesting how they gave me all these swords. Um, the Seven Swords would usually represent him too, because this is the lying, cheating, stealing, conniving, um, every word's an untruth card, but it's upside down. So it's like in his mind, it's like robbing his own mind is robbing him. So it's like what he does to others, now his mind's kind of doing to him. So it's a bunch of confusion. He can't remember, why did I get up? Where am I going? But worse than I do. And all of this conniving and planning, and, because there was a lot of mental conniving and planning, it's falling apart. So he's losing a grip on where is he? What's he doing? What was the point? Um, so I'm going to say he's not doing great mentally or physically. They're beginning to feel about even. We're getting to the point where maybe a home or at home is the best place for him. Like, keep him inside or put him in a home. You know, it's approaching. I think he can sense it too mentally, or he probably it comes across that we're kind of moving towards high noon. It's it's the time. It's like the people against him, and there's a duel, and we're reaching high noon. This compass was pointing north, but I'm gonna say noon, and all bets are off. Also, the energy that the northern energy, that mental energy, is on a path of its own. So it's like the mind is just going where it wants to go, and you can't really change the direction. So it's hard to um, talk or um, suggest compromise, anything. It's hard to get anything in there because his mind is always just pinpoint. He can't take in other stuff, and stuck. It's stuck. It's like it's stuck there in this land of fantasy and wishful thinking. So, this also reminds me, it's like when you're nutty and you're losing it, other people notice it, but you don't. You just think, la la la, could you bring me my stuffed unicorn? I want to play. I want to play unicorn. Um, he's in that frame of mind a lot, like childlike, la la la, um, loopy. He comes in, do you get my point? And people are like, No. His mind, mentally, it's like soup. It's like a kind of a hot, steamy mess in there. It's like, it's not it's not good. It's like a hot, steamy mess inside. So I don't get that he's doing great either way. Let's do one more while we're on the old Oompa. How is his goal of being, dictator and ruler of the world? How's that going currently? What's the energy of that? Is it just thriving and a going and a grooving like it has been? Or what's up with it? Can you show me anything about the energy of his dictator mission? One more card, please. About his mission. Okay. So, how's his mission going? Oh, let me pull a couple of these cards about that as well. Um, Interesting. These cards are interesting. I do enjoy them. Okay. Okay. So, when we look at his mission, like his plot, his plan, his all that crap, um, here's a good card. So it's the Ace of Swords, I mean, the Page of Swords. So it's kind of finally his words are falling on deaf ears when it comes to young people. So young people are starting to turn on him in big numbers. So when I talk about his goals and you know, his taking over the world, younger people are wising up and they're not for it. So it's not resonating. They're not, they're anti the message. You can call it a message. Second card I get is justice mixed with the world. So I'm going to say universal justice, divine justice is descending upon it. So he's facing karma, divine justice on behalf of not just America, but the whole world. So his little plot to overtake the world, um, there's currently there's this divine justice energy that's coming upon it. And so this is kind of repeating that in a way. So here's the temperance angel um, coming in, um, you know, to confront it. So I talk about his mission, his big thing. There's this balancing energy coming in, and that's what we talked about before, like the people coming in to balance this out, to stand up to it. So there's this also with the temperance angel, you might say there's this peaceful resistance coming forward. And where does that lead? What's the next card after that? It's pretty much the temperance angel again, but it's that card of it frozen like a statue upside down. So this real peace, real love, true energy replaces this phony hierophant government that has no love, no life force for anyone. It's just it'll be like a memory. But even statues of him will like be covered in cobwebs or turned upside down. So it's like we're getting closer to extinguishing him. The other thing about his mission, it's interesting because I got this last card, which is the Nine of Cups, but he's lost the plot. He's lost track of his mission. He's just, he's not focused on the mission, right? It's like, what can I devour before it's too late? I'm only focused on me. Um, so he's not even, he's kind of let go of it in a way. So we talk about his mission. It's the fire breathing dragon. Um, More and more people are seeing that that's what the mission was to burn everything down. Um, People, though, more and more are turning against it. So, no, there's no light in my window for this crap. You're not gonna, don't come knocking here. I took the candle out of the window for that. We don't want a fire breathing dragon in charge of the world. Thank you. Um, Also, that mission is just as fragile as he is. So we get this egg again. Before it was about him, now it's about the mission. It's very fragile. Um, it won't stand up to this bulldozer energy. Interesting because he's bulldozing the White House, but in turn, that bulldozer turns on him and bulldozes him down. This egg can't withstand it, leaving him exposed, like the emperor's new clothes, exposed to most, that he's nothing more than a puking, drunken sailor. It'd be about as good as to have this as the leader. But it don't look like it's going good. I do sense the tides they be a turning from different directions, and that we might actually be wrapping this chapter up, the one with the Oompa Poompa on the title. Let's look at those Klingons, I like to call them. They're like that little, like a little piece of poopy doop that's kind of stuck to the crack of his butt, and and they don't want to shake free, but he's not able to shake it at this point, so they're just stuck in there, all sweaty and stinky. Let's look at them. How's their energy? I'm just going to do the whole group instead of going individually. Wilk. How is the group of enablers, Klingons, scumbags, how liars, cheaters, creepers, pedos, um, racists, homophobes, um, misogynists, how are they doing? How's their energy going? I feel like they might be going through a little bit of oh shit and not just talking about themselves. All righty. What about the Klingons? The Klingons. What's their energy going through? Oops. Burr, burr, dur, 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 dur. Okay, one more. That's that card that came out. I'm looking at the Klingons. So, of course, the devil shows his face because they're dancing with the devil. They've sold their souls to the devil. All of that. Well, I just think it's going to become more and more and more obvious. They're not going to escape. They thought hitching their tail to his wagon, they were going to get all that they wanted and leave everybody else out in the cold, but not sure that's what's going to happen. So I don't know. I think I could just go on with these cards nonstop and they'll just keep on. Okay. So the Klingons, those little pieces of poopy doo stuck in the crack, uh, willingly, they ran to it. They stuck themselves to the crack. They couldn't resist that stank and they needed to be a part of it. First one is the Seven of Cups. So, they've been fully involved in all the gaslighting, lying, cheating, stealing. They've lied, lied, lied. They're just a big old part of all the delusion and the illusion. But get judgment after it. They're not going to be able to get away from it's like it's marked them. So once he's dropped or whatever, this doesn't disappear. It's still all over their faces. All these lies and deceptions and cheating and bullying that they participated in. So they're going to be judged for their actions and their participation. That's what's coming when I look at their energy. They're thinking, this is the Ten of Wands, spears, it says, but it's wands, that the old orange leader that they put all their hopes and dreams in is actually becoming a burden. Uh-oh. Maybe I made a mistake. This is becoming more burdensome than fun. They're beginning to see that they're losing. And they're losing with more people than they're winning with. So the tides are turning. They're watching their fortunes dwindle and spill out. What are the Klingons? They're forever attached to the devil. They're chained to him. So the karma applies to them too. And so um, it's kind of like they made their bed, so lie in it. You wanted to dance, now it's time to pay the fiddler. I love that the devil shows his face, and I like those chains coming from both sides. They're completely chained to that energy, no matter what they say. And then also, because cards just keep going, but the Five of Swords. So they're not even there's they're not getting along with each other. So it's like no two of the Klingons get along, really. All of them think their poop don't stink, but it's just so much in their nose they can't smell the difference. But it's all full of poopy stink. But they just can't get along. They fight, they argue. They're a horrible group constantly. Well, you don't agree with me, so now let's all attack you. It's a constant turn on each other, kind of an energy. The next card they get is Death. and Four of Swords, which is kind of the other death card. It's like the lowercase death, because see him laying there on a coffin and the person coming to take care of his body. Um, the principles, the things that they were spewing, all these swords energy, the agenda they were presenting, it's coming to an end. Double death. Um, so the agenda is coming to an end, but also those that were fighting for it. That would be the Klingons. So I don't, I put an awful lot of cards and I shuffled those forever, and they got all these, it's just always interesting to see what cards come out. So then the last two is there's the Klingons. What's their future? What's going on right now? They be rushing towards the tower moment. So there's the tower in their future, and they're just, you know, going like gangbusters to get there. They're not gonna, they might try to change their ways at the last minute or say they do, but no, they're going full force right into, you know, the end, rushing towards the tower with all their might. But, their goal was to be a tower on America, and they certainly did a good job. They've done awfully good, but the tower will come for them instead. That's the thing about energy. I know you've heard it a million times, but what you put out comes back. So why would you want to spend your time putting crappy energy out in the world all the time? So stupid. Anyway, well, wasn't a lot of positivity coming from that. Let's pull a couple of cards, just because I feel like it'll be more upbeat on um, the energy of we the people and how we're going right now. How's our energy here in November as we seek to take our power back and change the direction of our country? How's that going? Okay, great. I love it. Okay, great. Love it. So let's look at the energy of us folk, us simple little Americans. Also, like in a bigger picture, the world, and how are things going for us? First of all, High Priestess. So this is called the Mother Peace deck. This is the first deck I ever used in my life back 100 years ago. High Priestess. This is great energy because that High Priestess energy is behind us. So, you have the Hierophant and the High Priestess. The Hierophant is like this earthly um, energy that is kind of between you and spirit, and it's supposed to help you connect. It would be like the church, but it's very kind of masculine focused, and it's kind of poopy. This would be that connection between humans and spirit, but it's the inner realm, the spiritual realm, that more feminine focus. But so this card is saying to me that us which we will be the majority of Americans in the world, are following this energy, not that Hierophant. We will force you to do what we want. This is more, one for all for one energy. And that's what that's the call we're answering. That's what we're following. Temperance. We're going to face the storm, face the tidal wave with our own. You might even see her making a wave to confront the energy. So it's interesting too. So this temperance, you're seeking balance. You're coming through to change, but through peace and calm. Like she's dancing her way into change. She's using magic in her connection to the universe and nature to make positive change. And that's sort of the dance we're doing. The next one is the star card. I love this. It's like the cards are saying, keep doing what you're doing. Stay focused on the light. Keep grounded. Hold steady in faith and light. Meditate on the positive outcome. They got these morning glories in here. Use your third eye to create what you want, not what you don't want. Relax in the power of peace, tranquility, love. In the star, continue to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And that's where this energy is coming from. It's the kind of energy and group focus that has room and space for everybody. So here's the 9 of discs, the 9 of pentacles. So all walks of life are included, all the colors, all the avenues. We come together to make magic together. And it's from all these different walks of life, discs. But coming together to bring like a positive conclusion to something with the 9 of disc, a satisfying experience that creates change. But the biggest part of this is, it's talking about how it's about all of us, all walks of life. And then on a worldwide, it's all the countries, all the peoples. We're all the same. We come from the same source. Get along with each other, for God's sake. Anyway, great. So it's just saying that. And I'm saying, like, how's that energy? We're talking about that energy. Well, it's us working together in this diverse group, bringing forth this peaceful resistance and change, keeping our focus on good and light and that for all, that's our energy, following our spiritual guidance, our heart, our intuition, that a dictatorship is not good for us, and we're choosing differently. And that energy, as it moves forward, it's moving towards the tower. It's supporting this tower moment. So assisting it. And then you got the crazy leader up there with his crown on, and the lightning hitting the actual Orange Menace. I love this too because it's got this eclipse energy back here, and we've got all that sun energy going on. I talked a little bit more with AI, 3i Atlas, and there's this inner sun energy. You'd have to watch that tape because I can't remember, but the sun energy happening, and it's liable to create storms and more earth changes. But so the people are focused on bringing this guy down. And that's the outcome. We bring him down. So like they said, there's a lot of different reasons, but a main thing that helps to change this is we the people taking our own power back as humans and, um, you know, realizing that everyone deserves that, regardless of our superficial surface, differences. We all deserve the same love and light. All right, guys. Well, I hope that was fun. I'm sorry again, I haven't been on in a while, but I'll try to do better. But it's just me. We'll see how that goes. I love you a whole big bunch, and I'll talk to you again um, soon. Let's say that soon. And now let's see if this was gonna let me.